Hammerhead today have announced an interesting partnership with sports wearable company or watch company Suunto. In today's video, I will cover what this partnership is all about from a technical level, how it works, how to set it up, I perform a road test, and I dig into some of the pros and cons of this new partnership/feature. Now this is all done from the eyes of a cyclist who doesn't own any Suunto devices. Okay, let's get straight into the detail of this one. What this partnership is all about. Once configured on the unit, it's similar to other third-party connections on your Hammerhead device, but this one has benefits. Hammerhead users now get access to the Suunto app, which has multi-sport tracking, a route builder, heat maps, etc., including analytics. And the biggest benefit for us cyclists is that we get access to the Suunto cycling heat maps directly on our Karoo 1 or Karoo 2 cycling computers. Okay, jumping into how all this works. Once set up, your cycling activities from these devices will sync over to the Hammerhead cloud and also the Suunto cloud. Exactly the same as if you've set up a Strava auto sync as well, and it syncs off to the Strava service. From there, you'll be able to track your cycling along with any other activity within the Suunto app, within their analytics. Your cycling data will contribute to the heat maps, and cycling routes created on the Suunto app will sync automatically back to the Hammerhead cloud and onto these devices very, very quickly. Getting it set up is pretty straightforward. You need to update your Hammerhead Karoo units, either the 1 or the 2, to the latest firmware. You need to download the Suunto app and set up an account, then connect your Hammerhead and Suunto accounts similar to your other connected accounts. And once connected, you'll have an option on the Karoo 1 or Karoo 2 to download the Heatmap pack, which is in addition to your current maps on your Karoo units. Once installed, you'll have a little icon on the map page to toggle on and off the Heatmap overlay, and away you go. Okay, road testing this at the lights. Now I have the heat maps turned off at the moment. We can see the standard road maps and the green is bike paths. And when I hit that on button, everything lights up with a lot more detail of where people have previously ridden their bikes with Suunto devices and soon also with Hammerhead Karoo devices. Again, turning that off and turning that back on, it's a world of difference, especially at those closer zoom levels. All right, green light go. Let's scoot through the traffic out of town and we'll pull up short at an intersection and I'll show you the difference between the heat maps as displayed here on the Hammerhead Karoo 2 and a comparison with the Garmin Edge 1030 Plus and their popularity routing. Alrighty, rolling in here to the intersection where I have to unclip and stop. Now, just for interest's sake, I'll switch off the heat maps to show you what happens, and we pretty much lose all sight of where we were heading at this zoom level. So switching those back on, as you can see, adds a lot more information about where I'm heading. Alrighty, pausing right here to pull up an old friend, the Garmin Edge 1030 Plus, and what they call the popularity map routing overlay, or it's called Heatmap by any other name. Now I've zoomed into about the same level as on the Karoo 2, and there is a lot of information on screen, but is it really usable? That is a good question, especially when there's so much shown on screen here. Now if I flick that off or turn that off on the Garmin, you can see the popularity mapping does add some value, but is it too much? It's definitely very hard to interpret at this zoom level. Over on the right-hand side there, the Karoo 2, I think wins this battle for usability out on the road. Okay, carrying on the journey towards the first climb where climber should auto-detect, not following a route. This is the always-on climber feature. And we'll see how it operates with these heat maps. Okay, the climber tray has appeared, and the heat map icon is still on screen, taking up a bit of real estate, but it's still there for us to toggle those heat maps on or off. On is definitely my preference. Okay, skipping through this, watching climber do its thing in real time. I'm still pretty impressed that it can detect these climbs automatically. I do like that feature. And as it spins around, we can see now on the top of the screen, there's some heat mapping information as we zoom out on the screen there for mountain bike routes. Now, this is not somewhere I'd be taking the road bike. So one of the things you do need to be aware of is there's no differentiation between mountain bike rides and road bike rides. They're just simply cycling rides or cycling activities that have been heat mapped. Jumping ahead, in the ride, and I'm back in town and near the Black Hill Mountain Bike Park in Ballarat. That is lit up with heat map information, but it is somewhere that I would not be taking this road bike. And right next to the Black Hill Mountain Bike Park is the gravel trail. I also wouldn't be taking this road bike. So, look, let's just spitball in the future. It'd be nice to see those in different colours for different types of bikes, for the different types of activity we do on those bikes. Okay, rolling into town, and we can see the warm glow of Lake Wendouree, unlike the warm glow of the indicator this driver did not use.
Where's an indicator? It's on the left-hand side.
Now, I do feel a little bad about that, because an indicator on a Mitsubishi is on the right-hand side. I gave the driver the wrong information, so let's hope they can learn from, well, both of our mistakes from that. Anyhow, carrying on, and into a scenario where these heat maps really came into their own today in a surprising way. So just rolling towards home, and I'm up against a road close. You can see the heat map. Typically we keep riding forward, but it's road close. We can't keep going. Solution, zoom in, have a look at where the heat map takes us on the alternate route, and it's right there on the screen. So we turn right, and we turn left ahead, and I carry on my merry way home. Now, during this ride today, with the heat maps on and off and playing around with how it all works, I really wasn't surprised by anything. These are my home roads, I know where people ride, and I knew where I was going to be riding. But this actually stood out for me. I didn't expect that road to be closed, didn't expect to need to find a detour, but when I did, those heat maps actually came in handy. So, look, 10 out of 10, I do like this. Again, Hammerhead have nailed it with the ride intelligence right there on the handlebars, and the ease of use is just second to none. The zoom in and zoom out while the maps are locked is a video in itself for another day. But for now, there we go. Road tested, and a thumbs up from me. So hopefully you got the picture there, literally, and I am a fan of having these heat maps on the head units right in front of me there. So onto some pros and cons of this feature/partnership with Suunto. First up, onto the pros, you do not need to own a Suunto device to take advantage of all of this. As I said before, don't currently own a Suunto device, and I've got the heat maps on the Karoo units. The heat maps add real-time ride intelligence straight in front of you on the bars, just like the climber at all times without having to follow a route. The Climb Pro pops up, as you saw in the video just there. This adds another layer of intelligence for you to choose where to ride and have a better experience on the bike. I'm a huge fan of that. I love what they're doing with these kind of features. There was no question about the readability of the Hammerhead being far superior to that over the Garmin Edge 1030 Plus with its popularity routing in play. So Hammerhead again, take the cake with this one. It's free, so there's no subscription required for this one. Your ride data will contribute to the cycling heat maps, so the more you ride and the more people get this connected, the better those heat maps will become. So again, I'll put that in the pro column. With your ride activities being synced up to the Suunto cloud, you can use the Suunto app to look at your ride analytics post-ride. If you're someone who goes out and does a ride and wants to know all the stats straight away, it'll be synced straight away. You can dive through the app. It's pretty comprehensive with what you can select in those little graphs that I have up on the screen there. Another pro is the route planner on the Suunto app will auto-sync back to the Hammerhead cloud and straight to these devices. I created a route from Creswick back to Ballarat on the Suunto app. It's a little bit tricky, not really my cup of tea for designing routes, but as soon as that was created on the Suunto cloud, bang, it was over on these devices straight away. So that's a good thing. Though the route planner / route builder is a little, well, as I said, not my cup of tea. There's also a privacy focus on this too. Suunto have been doing heat maps for quite some time. They've learnt from other people in the industry making mistakes, such as something to do with military bases, and let's not go too deep into that. And there are a few things they're doing to ensure that that is all in check with these heat maps. Now onto the cons to balance things up a little bit from my perspective as a cyclist on this new feature/partnership. Heat maps are only available on the units themselves. The heat maps are not available on the web dashboard when you're building a route with the Hammerhead Route Builder. It would be really handy if it was. There's no way to differentiate between cycling types, so road, mountain bike, gravel, all look the same on the head units. It would be nice to say, hey, look, I'm on a road bike, don't take me off-road. The Suunto heat map data isn't as rich or as deep or as thorough as something like Strava. Strava have billions of users, thousands of devices, all uploading to the one big data pool, and that heat map just glows very, very bright. Suunto, it wasn't too bad for the routes that I had. It was lacking in the forest when I took it out on the gravel bike, but it's something to be aware of, and I guess it's something you'll contribute back to if you are using this feature. Again, your rides will contribute to a better heat map in the future. As mentioned, the Suunto Route Builder, it's just not for me. Let's just not go there. I like web-based route planning if I'm using a route builder. One thing you may have picked up on during the road test is that little flame icon to turn the heat maps on and off was always on the screen. Now, screen real estate is at a premium on these. There's not a lot of pixels on there, and those pixels were taken up at all times. It'd be nice to have the heat maps in a menu system somewhere tucked away so you can just turn them on and leave them on. I don't see any reason to turn them off because they're actually that useful. And finally, on my cons list, what I call ecosystem fragmentation. Given this partnership / linking isn't a company takeover, people have to understand what each company does for each service they provide. The partnership adds value overall, there's no question about that, even if you're just a cyclist, but it's not as straightforward as Garmin and Garmin Connect, where you've got all your Garmin devices all in one pool, all on one website. You've got a route planner, route builder, etc., all in one place. This, well, as I said, fragments the ecosystem just a little bit. There is a bit of a learning curve to know exactly which company does which thing if you're using this for cycling and Suunto devices for your multi-sport activities. Okay, time to wrap this one up today. Look, in summary, if you're a Suunto and a Hammerhead user already, today you've hit the jackpot. The two companies are working a little closer together to provide a better user experience across both platforms. If not, if you're just a Hammerhead user and not a Suunto user like I, then it's still a win. Those heat maps on these units were very, very cool and very handy out on the road, as I said, to add more ride intelligence right in front of you. I see no reason not to set this up, get those maps installed, and have a better time out on the road on the bike. All right, and with that, we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for watching this one. As always, it's YouTube, so you need to do this down here. Hit subscribe to support this channel, and we shall see you soon.